Howdy, everybody. This is Take from Take's Bluegrass Channels. We are broadcasting from Okayama, Japan to the world. Today marks the start of our new project, Take's Bluegrass Hero Interviews. In this very first video, the tables are turned. I'll be the one getting interviewed. I will share a bit about myself, my channels, and vision behind this exciting project. Now, it's my great pleasure to introduce our interviewer today, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Richard Lemmer. We worked together at a university in Okayama. He retired 6 years ago, and this will be our first collaboration since then. Now, thank you, Richard, for being part of this project.
Take, I really appreciate your inviting me to help participate in your new project, Take's Bluegrass Hero Interviews. I'm sure it will be greatly appreciated by the international bluegrass community. Today, I'd like to ask you a few questions, both about yourself and the new podcast. First, how did you become interested in bluegrass music?
Well, before I got into bluegrass music, I was really into folk songs. Not traditional Japanese folk songs, but this new wave of contemporary folk music emerging in Japan. I was about 14 at the time, and I absolutely loved the Japanese folk singers like Takada Wataru. He had this incredible way of singing about everyday life in a raw and poetic way that I've never heard before. His songs felt fresh and unique, and they completely drew me in. At first, I thought many of the songs he sang were his original creations, and the lyrics and melodies felt distinctively Japanese. But as I listened more closely and started reading liner notes, I discovered some of these songs were actually the adaptation of American folk songs. This realization opened up a whole new world for me. I became curious about the originals and started hunting for records by American folk and blues legends like Woody Guthrie and here's another one, Jack Elliott and Mississippi John Hart and Brownie McGhee, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGhee. So back then, I used to visit this music shop in Osaka called Sakane Gaki. They had all kinds of American roots music. So one day I went there looking for another album by a Japanese or American folk artist. But instead, I stumbled across this album, Old Time Country Music by Mike Seeger. Oh man, I was hooked just by the album cover. It has this amazing photo of string instruments. It screamed rural America. Honestly, before I even listened to it, I was already in love with the old-time music. The next album I picked up was this, Look Who's Here by McGee Brothers and Arthur Smith. This one sealed the deal for me. Within a few months, I was completely obsessed with this type of music. It got to the point where I joked to myself, maybe I was a poor white living in Appalachian in my past life. And then not too long after that, I came across this album by Country Gentleman. My first real taste of bluegrass music. You know, bluegrass feels kind of different. It has the mix of old traditions and something modern and almost urban. The harmonies and energy, the musicianship, it just pulled me in completely. From that moment, I knew bluegrass was something I couldn't live without.
Take, I'm surprised to hear that you've been interested in bluegrass so long. Are you a bluegrass musician yourself? What instruments do you play?
Am I a bluegrass musician? No, I'm not. Heck no. I wanted to be one and I gave it a shot, but well, my lack of ability got the better of me. These days, I play the guitar and sing just for fun of it. And every now and then, I pick up my mandolin, though I wouldn't call myself a mandolin player. It's just all for my own enjoyment, really. Yeah.
Well, Take, I actually think you're a pretty good bluegrass musician yourself. My next question, how did Take's Bluegrass Album Channel come about?
Well, the idea for Take's Bluegrass Album Channel really came about as a result of my journey in collecting and sharing music over the years. Back in the late 1990s and early 2000s, I was really into P2P file swapping. You know, those early days of Napster style music sharing. During that time, I ended up collecting thousands of music files, including bluegrass and old time music, ripped from vinyl records, as well as massive live recordings from festivals, concerts, and gigs. In that process, I also digitized hundreds of my own bluegrass vinyl records so that I could share them with others. Now, as you can imagine, I ended up with a huge collection of digitized bluegrass albums. On top of that, a British friend, Augustine, sent me dozens of CDs filled with MP3s of all kinds of American music, including bluegrass. But then around 2012, everything changed. File swapping over the internet suddenly became prohibited. That really forced me to rethink things. Instead of exchanging files privately, I wanted to focus on sharing music more openly and responsibly. That's when YouTube entered the picture. It seemed like the perfect platform to share these amazing bluegrass albums with a broader audience. In August 2014, I took the first step. I launched my first YouTube channel, Take's Live Bluegrass Channel. At that time, I uploaded only live recordings that were not commercially available because I was extremely sensitive about copyright issues. After about a year and a half of testing waters, I decided to take things further. In February 2016, I launched Take's Bluegrass Album Channel, focusing exclusively on digitally converted vinyl albums that are not available on CD. That's how the channel came to be, a way to preserve and share these timeless bluegrass recordings with fans and collectors around the world. Before wrapping up my answer to this question, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge some of the incredible individuals who have contributed to my music collection over the years. Their generosity and passion for bluegrass music have made a huge impact on what I've been able to share with the world. First, I want to mention Mr. Steve T., from the United States, Mr. Tsuneji Tokiyas from Japan, Mr. Eduardo Banzi from Italy, all of whom kindly share music files and rare recordings with me. In addition, I like to give a shout out to a few folks whose real names I don't know, but who made a significant contributions under their handle names. Sweet Dixie, Rank Stranger, Roanoke, Inspiron, to all of whom I owe a great deal of gratitude for helping me build this amazing collection of bluegrass treasures. Thank you so much.
That's amazing that you connected with so many bluegrass fans around the world. Next question. What was your reason for starting the channel?
The main reason I started Take's Bluegrass Album Channel is the severe scarcity of vintage bluegrass vinyl albums available on CDs. Unlike genres like jazz, blues, and country music, bluegrass faces significant challenges when it comes to passing its tradition down to the younger generations. Turntables, which were once a staple in music listening, have made only recently a niche comeback among the dedicated enthusiasts. But when you consider the incredible musical quality of bluegrass during the 4 decades between 1950s and 1980s, the lack of access to these recordings feels almost like a crime. Take's Bluegrass Album Channel plays an unique role in preserving bluegrass music by digitizing and sharing these rare vinyl albums. The channel aims to eliminate scarcity and allow these traditions to flow naturally to the future generations. This is a core mission of the channel. At the same time, I like to share an important observation I've had during this project. Many American viewers often thank me for trying to preserve bluegrass music as their culture or their heritage, saying this is something we should be doing ourselves. While I deeply appreciate the gratitude, I see things a little differently. To me, bluegrass is not just an American tradition. It has grown into a global cultural entity, much like judo, which originated in Japan, but now belongs to the world. For this reason, preserving bluegrass music is a service not just to the United States, but to the entire world. This is why I started Take's Bluegrass Album Channel.
That's an interesting analogy you make between judo and bluegrass music and the widespread appeal which both have. I have another question for you. Have you had any memorable interactions with subscribers to your channel?
One of the most touching moments for me as the creator of this channel was a comment from a viewer. They mentioned how their mother, who was nearing the end of her life, found comfort in listening to a gospel album I had uploaded. They wrote, "Mom loves this music. Glad to be able to play it for her, as she is facing crossing Jordan soon." It brought tears to my eyes, realizing this music, these timeless melodies, could accompany someone during such a meaningful and emotional part of their journey. This is why I do what I do. This is why preserving and sharing bluegrass music matters. It's not just about the notes and the songs. It's about the lives it touches and moments it becomes a part of it.
That sounds like a very moving experience you had about your subscriber's mother. Next question. I noticed that you post albums you upload on YouTube, also on your Facebook group. Your Facebook group appears to have many American bluegrass musicians. How has this group contributed to building connections with these musicians, and how has it influenced your Hero Interviews project?
In many cases, my first contact with bluegrass musicians involves asking their permission to upload their albums on my YouTube channel. I'm happy to say that I don't recall any request being denied when I reached out. That said, I humbly admit that there are a few occasions where I failed to ask for permission. In those cases, my uploads were understandably blocked. To those individuals, I offer my sincerest apologies. I'm sorry. I also invite many of these musicians to join my Facebook groups. It's always a pleasant surprise when they join of their own initiative. It's incredibly rewarding to see them become part of this online community. I have met most of these musicians in person, but the Facebook group has proven to be an incredible platform for connecting and sharing a mutual love for bluegrass music. Through comments, messages, ongoing discussions, I have been able to build meaningful relationships with them in a way that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. In fact, the relationships I formed through the group played a significant role in shaping the list of interviewees for this interview project. These musicians are not just contributors to the group, but individuals whose artistry and dedication to bluegrass have profoundly influenced me on both personal and professional level. So the Facebook group isn't just where I've met many of my heroes. It's also the place where I've come to truly appreciate their importance to both bluegrass community and my own journey. It's a place where mutual respect, shared passion, and a sense of community fosters collaboration and recognition.
That's very positive and encouraging that you've been able to develop these online relationships. I have another question for you. Now, the title of your new project is Take's Bluegrass Hero Interviews. What is your definition of hero, and who are you referring to?
When I think of my heroes in bluegrass, my mind first goes to the musicians who made me fall in love with this music during my youth in 1970s and early 1980s. Back then I was trying to learn the mandolin, and naturally my heroes included some of the greatest mandolin players of that era: Jethro Burns, Buck White, Herschel Sizemore, Roland White, just to mention a few. These artists inspired me to pick up the instrument, practice hard, dreaming of one day playing like them. However, as I mentioned before, I don't consider myself a musician. My lack of talent in picking meant I could never say I was directly influenced by their techniques or styles, but their music, through their singing and playing had a profound impact on me emotionally. They made me adore bluegrass more and more, even as my journey as a mandolin player faded. Many of these heroes have since passed away, including Buck White, who we sadly lost about 2 weeks ago at the age of 94. This reality has made me realize the importance of preserving their stories and legacies for the future generations. It also forced me to expand my definition of hero for this project. While my original heroes are musicians who inspired my early love for bluegrass, I now see heroes as anyone who has made a significant contributions to this music. This includes not only legendary pickers and singers, but also contemporary artists and individuals who have supported the bluegrass community, festival organizers, promoters, and even dedicated fans. Their collective efforts have shaped the vibrant bluegrass world we know today. And they all deserve to be recognized. Ultimately, hero for me is not just about personal influence, but also about recognizing those who have contributed to the growth, preservation, and celebration of bluegrass music as a whole. To give you an update on the first group of heroes we want to interview, I have sent invitations to 17 individuals who are important figures during my youth and are members of my Facebook group. So far, we have received positive responses from 11 of them. We are now considering extending invitations to a second group of heroes, which would include individuals outside of the Facebook group.
I'm very glad to hear that you've included contemporary musicians along with traditional bluegrass players. It's also very encouraging to hear that you've got so many positive responses to your interview request. I have another question. How does the new interview project connect to the original Take Bluegrass Album Channel?
Well, the new interview project is a natural extension of Take's Bluegrass Album Channel. The original channel focuses on preserving and sharing bluegrass music by making rare vinyl albums accessible to a wider audience. The interview project aims to capture the human stories behind the music. These stories give depth to the music and help us appreciate the artistry, dedication, and culture that shaped bluegrass. Together, they create a more comprehensive tribute to bluegrass as both an art form and cultural legacy.
Yes, I think that hearing musicians tell their own stories will add a lot to the fans' experience of listening to the music. My next question is, what type of information do you want to find out from the musicians?
Well, while we won't delve into the technical details of their instruments, since we are not musicians ourselves, we aim to explore the more personal and human aspects of their lives and careers. For example, we are interested in the people and events that influence their musical journey, their challenges, and their proudest moments. Our focus is on storytelling that resonates with both musicians and fans alike.
Take, I think that will be very enjoyable for the viewing audience. Next question I have for you is, how long do you anticipate each podcast to last?
The final video we plan to upload on YouTube will typically run for about 20 to 30 minutes. This duration is designed to maintain audience engagement while providing meaningful content. However, the actual interview might take longer as it allows more relaxed conversation and the opportunity to explore various topics. If discussion flows naturally and the interviewee is willing, we are happy to extend the session and edit it later to fit the desired length.
I think that's a very good amount of time for each podcast. It'll keep the people's attention. My last question, will the podcast include any live performances?
We certainly hope so. Whenever possible, we will invite the interviewees to share a live demonstration of their playing or singing. This could add an extra layer of depth and enjoyment for our viewers, offering them a unique glimpse into the artistry of the musician.
Take, I certainly hope that a few of the musicians agree to perform live. It will certainly make for a more interesting podcast. And I want to thank you for taking the time to answer all of my questions today. Great answers, and I wish you great success with Take's Bluegrass Hero podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Richard, for asking such thoughtful questions that allow me to share about myself, my channel, and the vision behind our new interview project. I truly enjoy the conversation. Now, everyone, thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. I truly appreciate your support. Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to share the names of these incredible musicians we are going to interview starting in February 2025. These musicians represent a golden era of bluegrass, and the band name you will hear are those they are part of during the time they became my heroes. Here's the list. Alan Monday from Country Gazette, Andy Statman from Country Cooking, Butch Robbins from the Bluegrass Boys, Chuck Nation from the Bluegrass Alliance, Curtis Birch from the Newgrass Revival, Everett Lilly from the Lilly Brothers, Greg Allen from the Allen Brothers, Jack Hicks from the Bluegrass Boys, Jerry McCurry from the Red Allen and Kentuckians, Raymond McLean from the McLean Family Band, Michael Anderson from Roanoke, and Wesley Golding from Boone Creek. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to interview these legends and share their stories with all of you. Thank you so much for your continued support. I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.